and Brad, the two most famous physical therapists on the internet.
Hi, I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
And
therapist.
together we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Brad, today we're going to talk about 3 tips, and plus a bonus, we always add a bonus, to help someone with Parkinson's when they have those freezing episodes.
Right, so that one foot sticking to the floor.
Yeah, it's like they're, exactly right, like their feet are stuck to the floor, they
Right.
can't move them. I've seen it in a lot of patients. I think you have one right now.
Yeah, I do, yep, and they come to a doorway or they stop or there's...
Yeah, it's often a decision point, isn't it, Brad? They come to a doorway or even a change of surface from tile to carpet.
Right.
Or if they have to take a turn,
Yep.
that's when all of a sudden they stop.
And if you have Parkinson's or you know someone, you know what we're talking about, that foot will just be, it's like it's glued to the floor.
Yep.
And then you got to break that. Once you break it loose, then things
Then
roll.
they get rolling again. So these are some of the hints you can try. The first one is rhythmic music or beat.
Okay.
Like they have a Parkinson's walker now that actually has a, click, 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 kind of a rhythmic.
You could, on your phone, or if you're in music, you could use a metronome.
Yeah, very good.
And get a proper, you could vary the rate to whatever you want to get that beat.
Right, or if you're a caregiver and you're along with somebody, you could just go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1,
Yep.
2.
Mm-hmm. Get that audio
Yep,
stimulation.
getting that rhythmic going on. One of the neurologists talked about how one of his patients would carry a phone that had a certain music that would get him going, get him moving. So
they're going to walk to the beat of the music or to the beat of the whatever you have for that.
Exactly. The second one is to try to help break it is that instead of thinking about taking a step, you actually think about marching. So they actually think about bringing the foot way up as opposed to just taking the step.
Right.
One of the neurologists said too that he had luck with one patient when he actually tried moving the foot out to the side first and then forward.
Yep, that would break it loose and they could get there.
The one that I've had luck with, Brad, is actually having them kind of just work on shifting their weight back and forth like this first before they try to step.
Okay.
So and if you're a caregiver, you can even bring their shoulders back and forth a little bit.
So
yeah. And then they can try to take the step.
Right.
So again, it's kind of a rhythmic thing, but also shifting the weight and maybe exaggerating and doing the marching. So the third thing is basically to have them step over a line or step on something.
Sure.
So
it's like the, why don't you stand up, Bob?
Yeah.
One simple thing, if you're walking with someone, just put your foot on and ask them, can you step over that foot, over the top, big step over that.
You might put the foot right in front of theirs, so they have to try to step over it. That gives them something. They can try to step over an imaginary line.
Right. You could use like a laser here.
Yep, he's got a laser pointer. I don't know if you can see that, Lonnie. There's the dot. That works out really nice because the idea is you can actually tell them to step on it, Brad, so you can keep it stationary. Try to step on that pointer.
And there's no trip hazard. It's not like stepping on your foot or putting a cane down or something of that nature.
They were talking about one patient who used to keep little wads of tissue paper in his pocket, and he'd throw down, when he got stuck, he'd throw it down and he'd step on that. It worked for him to get things rolling. So.
And they do have the walkers.
Yep.
Parkinson's walkers, they do have a laser built
line.
in.
Yeah.
They have, like you said, the noise, the
rhythmic.
Right.
Yep. So all those things are built into one
to
help you. That's a very expensive walker. Though,
right.
By the way.
It is.
Yeah. As a bonus, the third thing you can try, especially with turns, Brad, because a lot of people with Parkinson's have trouble when you try to do what we call a pivot turn.
Right, they'll lock up on that.
Right on the spot.
Yep.
So better for them is to, instead of doing a pivot turn, is to get used to working doing a round turn.
Big circle.
A big circle, instead of doing the pivot.
Right.
Okay.
Right. As long as you got a room big enough to do that, and that can become not necessarily a habit, but more common for them, and they don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm almost as tall as you sitting down.
Wow.
By the way, if you have any hints, please put them down in the comments below. We're always trying to learn. We're always trying to provide additional information for our patients and for us.
Right.
So
as a matter of fact, just yesterday, someone chimed in with a real nice, helpful hint from their experience on the topic. So yeah.
Yeah, we're all here to help each other.
Right.
So let's, it's a small planet, right?
I don't know if he's going to help me, but
there's too much to be helped. All right. Thanks for watching.